Welcome to the Explainer series for Quant. Here we'll be using very simple concepts and apply it to CAT level problems and solve them as easily as possible.
In this session, we will basically be looking at the third part of solids. We will be looking at a few questions which came up in the past CAT, XAT and IFT examinations. I would suggest pause this video, have a look at the PDF with the questions and the answer key, try these on your own and then proceed with the rest of this session.
Please do share this with your friends who are preparing for CAT and other MBA entrance examinations. You can like and follow us on Facebook as well as subscribe to our YouTube channel to get live event and notifications for all the updates regarding CAT and other MBA entrance examination. You can also look at our WhatsApp as well as Telegram lists. You can join over there and we will update you. We don't spam over there. If you want, you can enroll for our Quant and LRDI courses. These are the best and the most comprehensive courses available in the market.
So in the previous parts, we have looked at all the major dimensions of solids: cubes, cuboids, cylinders, prisms, pyramids, cones and spheres. We will be using these properties which we discussed in the previous two sessions extensively in solving these problems, right? I would suggest, in case you have not gone through those explainer videos, please do have a look at them and then proceed with the rest of this session. The first question is from IFT 2016. A right circular cylinder has a height of 15 and base radius of 7. A rectangular solid with a height of 12 and square base is placed inside the cylinder such that each of the corners of the solid is tangent to the cylinder wall. The liquid is then poured into the cylinder such that it reaches the rim. Find the volume of the liquid. Okay, so if I were to draw the dimensions of this solid, okay, so you have a cylinder of height 15. Okay, radius is 7. So we know the full volume. Full volume will be pi into 7 square into 15. Right, inside this there is a cylinder which is placed like this, right? And inside there is a square prism which is placed like this, height of which is 12 units, right? So water will not be filled up in the, water will fill up across the parts which are not occupied and then on the top of this portion. So we need to subtract the volume of this prism block from the volume of the cylinder. Now what will be the volume of this prism block? Okay, radius is 7, which means diameter will be 14, which means the base area will be half of 14 square, which is 98. Height will be 12. This has to be subtracted from the volume. So let's resolve this. So if I take 49 common, that will be 49 into 15 pi minus 24. Right, so this is not going to work. Right, this is definitely out. Okay, this is also out. So this has to be the correct answer. I can take a 3 out, so that will become 147 into 5 pi minus 8. Right, so option A. Using the options, job done. Second question is actually very conceptual. It's not very difficult at all. You don't even have to draw the diagram. It says Ram, a farmer, managed to grow shaped watermelons inside glass cases of different shapes. The shapes that he used was a perfect cube, hemisphere, cuboid, cylinder, along with normal spherical shaped watermelons. The thickness of the skin was the same for all the shapes. Each of the glass cases was so designed that the volume and the weight of the watermelon would be the same irrespective of the shape. So whether you grow it in a circular or a spherical part or in a cubical part, a hemispherical part, all these volumes are a cylindrical part, right? There is also a cuboidal part, right? Irrespective of how you grow, all these watermelons have the same size in the terms of volume as well as weight, right? Okay, the shapes are different, but the volume and the weight is the same. Customer wants to buy watermelon for making juice, for which the skin of the watermelon has to be peeled off and therefore is a waste. Which shape should the customer buy? Now, if you were to look at it from a two-dimensional perspective, as we discussed in the beginning of geometry, in a two-dimensional perspective, your perimeter refers to surface area, and area in two dimension refers to the volume. Here, volumes are the same for each of them. You need to minimize the surface area, peel off the skin of the watermelon as much as, so the one which has the lowest amount of skin will be the one. Now in a two-dimensional space, what happens? For a given area, a circle has the smallest perimeter. Similarly, for a given volume, a sphere will have the smallest surface area. Option D will be our correct choice. Don't have to do anything, just understand the basic concepts, project it to from 2 dimension to 3 dimension, job done. The third question is from IFT 2010. Okay, pretty interesting. Let's see what this says. A rocket shaped firecracker explosive powder is filled up inside the metallic enclosure. Right. The metallic enclosure is made up of a cylindrical base and conical top with base radius of 8. The ratio of height of the cylinder and cone is 5:3. The cylindrical hole is drilled through the metal solid with height 1/3 of the height of the metal solid. What should be the radius of the hole so that the volume of the hole in which the gunpowder is filled is half the volume of the metal solid after drilling? Okay, so let's quickly draw a schematic of this. Right, so the base radius is 8. Right, the ratio of heights of cylinder and cone is 5:3. So if this is 3x, this is 5x. Right, now on this, a cylindrical hole is drilled such that the height is 1/3 the height of the metal solid. Right, so this height is basically 1/3 the height of the metal solid. Right, what should be the radius of the hole so that the volume of the hole in which the gunpowder is filled is half the volume of the metallic solid after drilling? So whatever is the value of the solid here, the leftover part will be double of that solid, which means if we add the metal solid here, the full volume of the undrilled cracker will be 3 times the metal solid. Right, so that's what we need to find. Right, so let's calculate. That should be, all you need to do is wait a little patiently and your job will be done. Right, so let's calculate the volume of the cylinder. Volume of the cylinder will be pi into 8 square into 5x. Volume of the cone will be 1/3 of pi into 8 square into 3x. Right, now the volume of the hole which is there is 3 times, this value will be 3 times the volume of the hole. 3 into pi into, we don't know the radius, square into 1/3 of 8x. Now these two are equal, so let's slowly remove or cancel the values. So pi is there in here, this will also go, 3 will go with this, x will go from both of them, this should be added. Right, so let's, and 3 goes with here. Right, so let's now add the left hand side. Your left hand side will be 8 square into 5 plus 8 square into 1, which is 6 into 8 square. Your right hand side will be r square into 8. Right, so 8 goes here. So r square equals root 48, which is r equals 4 root 3. Option A, job done. The next 3 questions are basically a triple set which came up in CAT 2003, the repeated one. Let's see what this is. Consider a cylinder of height h and radius 2 by pi. So the radius is 2 by pi, height is h. Right, as shown in the figure, not drawn to scale. A string of a certain length, when wound on its cylindrical surface, starting at point A, ending at point B, gives a maximum of n turns. So there are n turns on the string. Right, what is the, or in other words, the string's length is the minimum length required to wind n turns. So it is very tightly wound. What is the vertical spacing between 2 consecutive turns? So you have h is the height and it is divided into n parts. So between two consecutive spacing, the distance will be h by n. Pretty straightforward. Job done. The next one is basically a continuation of the previous one, just like in the previous one. Okay, the same string is then wound on the exterior four walls of a cube of side n, starting at a point C and ending at a point D, and can give exactly one turn. See figure not drawn to scale. What is the length of the string? Okay, now if we were to break open this square and flatten it, it will look something like this. So you'll have DC, let's call it, then you go A, B, X, Y, Z, W, right? So the string will go like this. Then you have A, W, then it will go to B, Z, then it will go to X, Y, and finally D, C. Right? This edge and this edge is the same. I've flattened it out. So the string goes like this. Right, this is what is given to you. So this is the length of the string, right? If you were to look at it, the height will be equal to n, that's n centimeters. The width will be 4n. So using Pythagoras theorem, I can find the length of the string. Length of the string is square root of n square plus 4n square. That will be equal to root 17 n. Right, 4 square is 16 plus 1 17, n comes out. So option B is your correct choice. And the last one is related to the previous two. Right, in the setup of the previous two questions, how is h related to n? Now for the square, for the cube, we flattened out this cube. Right, similarly, if you open up the cylinder in terms of the string, if you were to open up the string, it will look something like this. Each of these portions will be the number of times. So this is one portion which is getting wound up on the cylinder. So it is getting wound up once. So this is one portion. Then the next time it will get wound up again. That will be the second portion. Then the third portion and so on. So these are n segments. Each of these base will be the one full turn of the cylinder. Right. So your base perimeter, let's call it P. P is 2 pi r. Now what is the value of r? 2 by pi. So your base perimeter is 4 units. How many such turns are there? N turns. So this will be 4n units. Right. What is the height? That is what we need to find. And we need to find the length of the string. Now the length of the string is same as in the previous case. What is the length of the string here? Square root 17n. Right, so using Pythagoras theorem, you will get n square into 17 will be equal to h square plus 4n whole square. Right, 4n square is 16n square, so 17 will go. So we'll get h square equals n square. So h should be equal to n, option C. Right, this is a very interesting question. This is from CAT 2003 repeat paper. Key point was flatten out the cuboid or the cube or the cylinder as the case may be and apply the Pythagoras theorem. And as with the rest of the questions as well, if you visualize the diagrams, questions can be solved in a reasonably quick manner. Solids are questions which a lot of non-engineers leave, a lot of even engineers also leave because they think like it's too difficult. The good part about solids is that everything is symmetrical. Usually you get a cube or a cuboid or a sphere, much more easier to deal with versus the irregularly shaped parallelograms or quadrilaterals or irregularly shaped triangles, etc. So don't leave questions which are on volumes and solids. They are much more easier than what you get from two-dimensional geometry.
That completes this particular session. If you liked it, please do share it with your friends who are preparing for CAT and other MBA entrance examination. Please do subscribe to our YouTube channel as well as follow our Facebook page. The links for our course are available on the description to this video. Till we meet again the next time, goodbye and all the best.